Hi guys, welcome to Mark Anthony's Music Picks episode 20. Today I'm coming to you from my apartment that has had no power for the last 2 days. Some thunderstorms came through on Wednesday and knocked out our power, and since then we haven't had juice. I've been staying in a hotel room, but I wanted to come back here and make an episode just because I've been bored and I really wanted to make this episode. Today I'm going to talk about Dumb Unit. Dumb Unit is one of my favorite tech house / after hours labels. It was releasing primarily from the year 2000 to 2018. It slowed to a trickle maybe after 2014 or 15. There's been a couple releases. I think the label's still technically alive. And from what I understand, Jeremy Caulfield, the person that owns and runs that label, has completely stopped DJing, which is kind of a shame, but I understand it. He's a very talented producer, very talented DJ. I got to see him live once, which I'll visit at the end of this clip. Awesome guy, really cool when I briefly spoke to him in person. I have a feeling that the reason he left the scene is because the scene that he's in is, the after hours scene is kind of crazy, and I don't blame him for being a full-grown adult and just getting away from that altogether. But I have 6 clips that I want to cover today, so I'm going to try to go a little bit quicker than usual just to keep the time down. I'm going to go oldest to newest, and the first release that I want to talk about today is one that I originally picked up back in my very early Juno shopping days. When I think back to my original, record shopping days online, you kind of come into it with a very objective lens where you don't really know who's who, right? And you're just listening to samples. And I remember seeing like really rare titles from artists that now are worth like $100 or $200. But back then, like, it was just like another item in the list. Like, I didn't know who Donato Dazzi was back in 2005. But, I ended up picking up some of his records. This was one that I picked up from Juno, not knowing who Jeremy Caulfield was, not knowing who Dumb Unit was. I just remember the original track that got me listening to it was Rec Room. This is the Scar City EP, and it turns out over time that I ended up liking Flipper Kicker more. Flipper Kicker has a drawn out synth that kind of comes in at the end, and it's very twisted and dark, and I think it very much typifies the Dumb Unit after hours sound, so I definitely wanted to include that. Here's a sample. So yeah, like I said, long drawn out synth at the end, and I think it just really it just kind of rocks. Like I just really like how it feels. It gets me fired up. Next title. That was 2005. Now we're up to 2007. This is the Butane Sweet and Candy Remixes pack. The track that always got me going on this was the How Low Can You Go Lee Curtis Rock Bottom remix. Here's a clip for that. I mean, that is insane. I don't even feel like I need to describe it because it speaks for itself. That has so much energy to it. I never got over that bass line and how effective and rolling that is. I think it would just completely destroy a club. I never got to hear this live, never got to play it out, but I highly recommend that. If you get a chance to drop that into a set, please do and let me know how it goes. Next up is another record by Caulfield, and this is also from 2007. This is the Lace Wig Puff EP, and there's 2 tracks on here. There's Lace Wing Puff and Licorice Pipe. They're both good, both set material. I like Licorice Pipe. Here's a clip of that. So for Licorice Pipe, I just think that really typifies the Dumb Unit sound. You could play that right in back of the Flipper Kicker record that I showed you, the first one that I went over. I think these would go great together in a set, and just really nice dark after hours vibe for that. Next up is an artist that I used to be completely crazy about this guy's music. This is Avatism. If you guys aren't familiar with Avatism, go and look at the story that I posted on Discogs. Go to Discogs and go to Avatism's artist page and check out the story that I posted about him. And the night that I, first ran into him by chance, it was one of the craziest club nights of my entire life, hands down. Just the circumstances and the story and how it just led me into just complete randomness and finding Avatism's music. This guy was completely on fire. His early releases, you have to go all the way back to the beginning of his catalog. I would say all the way up to the Adamant album release is what you want to check out. Also, any remix that he touched from that early era up to, I would say, 2014 is definitely something you want to check out. The track that I like on this one is called Within. And Within was the track that when I was at the party that I described in the Discogs review, that was the one, that melody got stuck in my head. It was like this little 3-4 note melody, and it got stuck in my head, and I could even remember it the next day. And we went and looked at the card for the party, like the promo card, and we figured out who Avatism was and started digging into his music. And I remember I found this like the Sunday or Monday after the party, and I was like, I am getting that. That is so good. Here's a clip of Within. So like I said, this is the trademark Within, Avatism sound. Just completely crazy. He had his own brand for a while, and even when I went out in Philadelphia after this, I was hearing his tracks all over the place. I would say from 2012 to 2013, you couldn't go out and hear a set without somebody dropping Avatism in there. But well deserved. That guy was on fire. I also forgot, there's a record that I want to discuss from the catalog that I don't have a physical copy of, and that is Butane's No Half Steppin'. For that record, it's actually a Doombot find/pick. I think it's totally awesome. Let's go to a clip of that. First of all, I would just want to acknowledge that the artist name Butane, I think, is totally awesome. Like, if I didn't know anything about techno and you told me we were going to see somebody named Butane, I'd be like, we're going to have a good night. I mean, it implies that it's inherently flammable, which is such a slick name. But Doombot and I, one night we were trying to describe to each other like what that track sounded like. We were having a music night in his apartment, and we decided that the imagery of that track is basically an abandoned warehouse that has like dead pigs or dead cows hanging on hooks, and they're just like automated and just like moving on conveyor belts and circling around this factory. And for some reason, the only light that's coming in is red, and there's nobody running it. We decided that it was like somehow self-automated, like a I don't know, like Fantasia or something like that. It just has this very mechanical I guess techno or industrial kind of vibe to it, and that was the imagery that we came up with. So let me know if you guys agree with that or not. And Last Here in Line is a track that I have a direct experience with as well, along with that Avatism record that I heard at the party. This is Seth and Caulfield. This is 2012, and the track on here that I like is called Gravitas. So for Gravitas, Doombot and I went to see Caulfield. We went to New York, and it was a Resolute party. And you never know what you're gonna get to. I don't know if you guys have ever been to a Resolute or a black market party, but like you're really rolling the dice going there. You really never know what you're gonna walk into. So we got there at maybe 1:30 in the morning after having some drinks at the bar. And I remember we were standing outside the venue, and we were there, but we didn't know that we were there because you couldn't see anybody from the outside. And then somebody like pops out of the door, sticks their head out like, "Hey, you guys here for the party?" Yeah. So we come in, and it's this apartment building that had at least 10 floors, but it was completely empty. So we're like going up the stairs, up the stairs, up the stairs, up the stairs to I think like the 6th floor. We go to this studio that it looked like maybe you could do like dance studio, or maybe like have an art gallery in there, or yoga. It was something like that, where it was like kind of small, kind of intimate, and it had a wood floor. And we were hanging out in there. I think Anthony Parasol was the opening DJ. He played a lot harder than I liked, but like it was like okay. And then I think around like 1 or 2 in the morning, Caulfield came on. So before Caulfield got on the decks, I walked up to him because at that point this track had already been out, Gravitas, and I was like, "Yo, if you can play that track tonight, please do." And he was like, "Cool, yeah, I have it with me." So Caulfield goes on, I guess, I don't know, 1, 2, 3 in the morning, pick your time. And you know, Doombot's with me, we're dancing the whole time, and for some reason the music cuts out. I don't know if somebody kicked an extension cord or what, but like everything went dead. So, you know, there's kind of like this murmur through the crowd. Everybody's just like talking and being loud and laughing and just carrying on and shit. And the power comes back on and everybody's like, "Woo!" Right? And then Caulfield, I happen to be standing right in front of the booth, like just, I mean, like 3 feet away from him, just kind of, you know, that's where I was standing at that point. And he drops Gravitas. And like, I look over at Doombot and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, it's on." So, anyways, so we started recording Gravitas, and I'm gonna drop the clip here at the end of the video for you guys to watch. I apologize, the sound quality is like pretty beat up, like the bass is distorting, but I want you guys to get a feel for that party and how awesome it was. Thank you, Jeremy, for dropping that track upon request. I bet you thought you'd never be reliving that one again, but there is a clip for it here. Anyways, thank you, and have a great day, guys. Take care.